Hello, welcome to Group 4's presentation for PBL Scenario B. This was prepared for AEDT 4110 at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. Group members include Jared Button, Jamie Taylor, Shannon Smith, and Javier Khan. For the development of our PBLB, we decided to create a website that would use a variety of digital technologies in order to outline our assessment. We decided to develop a 4-part assignment that would demonstrate the understanding of the concepts presented in this course. We would touch on meaningful assessment in the classes, and then by working in small groups, we would develop authentic assessments and then complete those assessments so that we could have them reflect on their learning. There will be a link in the discussion board to the website, so you can feel free to explore it yourself and even use or adapt the resources as you see fit. So this is the front page of our website. On our website, we have the description about our assignment, and then we have outlined the learning objectives and our breakdown of assessment that we will be using. So the learning objectives that we chose to address in our assignment are as follows. 1. Describe the goals of assessment and related principles of sound assessment. 2. Apply principles of sound assessment to adult educational and online contexts. 3. Select, create, and justify which assessment methods are best suited to particular adult education, learning goals, and teaching strategies. 4. Analyze, develop, and critique a variety of assessment methods using principles of sound assessment within an online and adult education context. 5. Apply digital technologies that support assessment processes. And 6. Locate, compile, and compare a variety of assessment resources within higher education and other related adult learning organizations. Our assignment is designed to be a 4-part assignment, starting with group brainstorming. Then they will create 2 authentic assessments, one formative and one summative. Part C is they will actually complete those assessments, and then D will allow the students to create a peer review and reflect on the assignment and what they have learned. The website is designed into both student and teacher streams. We envision this to be a pre-registered course, and so we've created a login field and a registration field here. So we're just going to move on to the part A. So we have the weight and the learning objectives that we each have chosen to include in this part. So the whole idea of this is for them to go to the discussion board and identify an assessment philosophy, and they would choose a group that has similar outlooks as them, and then they would brainstorm through their experience some techniques that they had that were ineffective examples of assessment, as well as some effective assessment techniques that they've been exposed to, whether through their educational process or through their own teaching. Then they would complete mind maps and post them. And from there, they would also want to identify some themes and hopefully tie that into each map. On each part on our website, we've included the rubric for their reference so they know exactly what they're graded on. So as you can see, we have their criterion on the left-hand side, and then our levels across the top, and there's room for comments. This will be completed by the instructor once they have submitted the concept map. Okay, there's an area for submission, and then we can just move on to part B. Part B is the authentic assessments. So based on the mind maps that they outlined in the previous section, they would then provide us with an example of a formative assessment and a summative assessment. We chose to have the students develop this, especially a weekly formative assessment, to outline the benefits of frequent assessment that we've learned throughout the course this semester. And this would allow the instructor and the student the opportunity to continuously track and monitor their development. Part C is where they will actually complete the assessment on an individual basis. They will be assigned one by the instructor, and they can choose one from another group to complete on their own. Okay, they can complete more than two if they want, depending on what was posted in the discussion board, and they would upload it to the submit bar. Part D is the peer and self-reflection piece. By using a holistic rubric, we decided that the comments have the potential to be written in a number of ways based on the learner's needs. This ensures that loose criteria are met and that the student understands the concepts. And by using this type of structure, we outline that the understanding of concepts is more important than providing the in-depth criteria based on the assessment of the task. We have discussed the benefits of both peer and self-reflection throughout this course and have done many examples ourselves. So we have developed a peer assessment rubric. We adapted the peer assessment rubric based on Janet's assessment rubric that she provided to us, and that can be downloaded and filled out via a Word document. And then for the self-reflection, we're looking for the students to reflect on their learning throughout this course. Heading to the teacher resources, we would of course make this login protected as we don't want the students cheating. Once they had access, we have all the resources here for the instructor to run the course. So we'll start with our assignment overview. We have the weight of all our assignments and our overviews and learning objectives all stated here for the instructor. For each of the parts, we have downloadable templates as well as more information for the teacher to utilize in order to facilitate the class. For each part, we have included samples of the completed assignments for the instructor to base their marking off of. So you can see here, this is where we have included our completed items for our project. So our concept map for effective assessment, we have divided into three main concepts: planning, teaching, and finally assessment. And we based it on us being the facilitators of our course. So you can see that by developing these three main ideas that we have met the learning objectives that we outlined for this particular section. We also have some examples of our formative and summative assessments that we've chosen to include it. I will let you read this on your own, the outlines, but just to go over specifically our formative assessment approach, the reason we chose to do a weekly double comment is that we felt like this would provide opportunities for the student, their peers, and the instructor to all provide valuable feedback on an ongoing basis. We then decided to do a weekly comment rubric, and they focus on each week's topic. They are still open-ended enough to allow the student the opportunity to take it in a direction that they felt would be beneficial to their learning, whether this be through a discussion of a strength or experience they had this week, or allowing them to develop and discuss a weakness that they have identified in themselves through exploring this week's topic. By providing direction for learning, we allow the opportunity to create more authentic assessments than providing a more instructor-led comments. If you want to browse through this document on your own time, it just outlines our approach to our summative assessment. And our main idea for our summative assessment is to develop a case study for the students to analyze. For our summative assessment, specifically, we decided to go with a case study approach. And what we would want our students to do is, by reading the above scenario that we have outlined, we would want them to outline some goals for their educators and what they would consider a sound assessment. And they would be able to use resources that already exist and kind of do a resource share from other organizations that they have found, whether through their previous experience or through an online search. So we also provided an area for teachers to contact us if they need any assistance, links aren't working, if they want to give us some feedback. And we also would allow the teachers to adapt any of these educational resources as they see fit. Thank you for listening to our overview of our final project. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in Blackboard, and I encourage you to visit our website, AEDT4110.weebly.com, and click around and see what you think. Thank you so much.